Okay, imagine you're walking a tightrope, but instead of a safety net below you, there's a fragile, recovering economy. That's pretty much the challenge India is facing right now, a fiscal balancing act of truly epic proportions. Today, we're going to break down exactly how they're trying to pull it off.
And really, this is the central question, isn't it? How do you get your finances in order after a massive shock without completely slamming the brakes on growth? It's a huge question, and India's answer is what we're going to dive into.
The pandemic just threw government budgets all over the world into complete chaos. Emergency spending shot up, tax revenues dropped, and deficits just ballooned. This wasn't some unique Indian problem, it was global. And it set the stage for some really, really tough choices.
So, what does a 9.2% fiscal deficit actually feel like? Well, to put it simply, it means that back in FY21, for every 100 rupees the government was bringing in, it was spending over 9 rupees more than that. Now, when you scale that up to the size of India's entire economy, you're looking at a massive, massive shortfall that had to be tackled, and fast.
All right, so what was the game plan? Well, it's a strategy with a very deliberate, very important name: credible consolidation. This was never just about slashing costs. It was a comprehensive plan designed to do two things at once: restore fiscal health and, at the same time, pour fuel on the economy.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Instead of just making cuts across the board, credible consolidation is kind of a two-pronged attack. One, bring that deficit down, but two, and this is crucial, double down on smart public investments. It's a bold move that's all about spending on the right things to create future growth. Think of it this way, right? Traditional austerity is like taking a lawnmower to your entire garden. You just cut everything down. Credible consolidation is way more like careful pruning. You're cutting back the weeds so that the flowers have room to bloom. It's about shifting money from just running the government day to day to actually building the country of tomorrow.
So that's the theory, but how does this all work in practice? Let's zoom in on the central government's books and see exactly how they're walking this tightrope between fiscal discipline and strategic investment.
The numbers here really do speak for themselves. In just a few years, India has managed to slash its fiscal deficit by nearly half, going from that staggering 9.2% all the way down to a much more manageable 4.8%. This isn't just some small tweak, it's a massive course correction that shows the consolidation part of the strategy is absolutely working.
So how'd they do it? This is the secret sauce right here. They moderated what's called revenue expenditure. Things like subsidies, salaries, day-to-day costs, while at the same time significantly ramping up capital expenditure, or CapEx. This is the big shift, spending less on just running the machine and way more on building the future.
Just think about that for a second. A threefold increase in capital expenditure in just 5 years. We're talking about a huge, huge surge in spending on things like new highways, ports, and digital infrastructure. This isn't just about pouring concrete, it's really about laying the foundation for a whole new era of economic growth.
But like any big national story, there's another layer. There's a plot twist. While the central government is on this clear path of consolidation and investment, something a little different has been happening at the state level.
And here's the catch. You see, the global financial community, the big investors, they don't just look at the central government's balance sheet. They see the whole picture, and that includes the finances of all of India's states. And when you zoom out to that level, a slightly different story starts to emerge.
At the heart of this divergence is a huge surge in what are called unconditional cash transfers, basically direct payments from state governments to citizens. Now, while these can provide a really important safety net for people, they also come with a pretty hefty price tag, an estimated 1.7 lakh crore rupees in just a single year. That's a ton of money that's not going into long-term investments.
And this is where the rubber really meets the road, as this quote spells out. When states overspend, it doesn't just impact their own finances. It can actually make it more expensive for the entire country to borrow money. It's a classic case of a few players potentially raising the stakes for the whole team.
Okay, so even with this challenge at the state level, the center's strategy has had a really powerful effect. It has sent a very clear signal to global markets, and the payoff has been tangible. It's been measured in confidence and, maybe most importantly, in credibility.
And you know what? The world has taken notice. A country's sovereign rating is basically its credit score. And in the last few years, 3 major international agencies have given India an upgrade. This is a huge vote of confidence in the credible consolidation strategy, and it's a sign that global investors are feeling pretty good about India's future.
Here's another key metric, the debt-to-GDP ratio.
It's just a measure of a country's total debt compared to its economic output. And while a lot of nations saw their debt levels spiral, India has actually managed to bring its ratio down by a pretty remarkable 7.1 percentage points since 2020. That is a huge step in the right direction.
So what's the bottom line here? It's simple. The strategy has directly led to lower borrowing costs for the whole country and a real surge in investor confidence. By proving it's serious about fiscal discipline, the government has made India a more attractive, more stable place to invest.
Which leaves us with this one big final question. The center is clearly pulling in one direction, towards fiscal health and smart investment, but some states seem to be pulling in another. The real nail-biter for the future is whether this delicate strategic balancing act can actually be sustained for the long haul.